Hi there, here's Christina from Changing Parenting, and I recently heard a professional who works with children saying that children need scolding in order to learn. And this is such a wrong concept. And it goes against everything I believe. But again, like all my videos, I don't want to talk about what my beliefs are because those shouldn't be relevant to you, but instead about what research shows, what does science say. So I'm going to show you the reasons why children do not need scolding in order to learn, and why actually scolding causes harm and makes children learn less and learn the wrong things. So first thing is because when you're scolding, and by the way, scolding is, anything that is like screaming at the child, shaming the child, punishing the child, anything that comes from aggression. And scolding, it creates fear, not learning. So children become scared of you, right? First of all, when they are scared, they go into this fight, flight, freeze response, right? They either hide or they will become even more like, nah, I didn't do anything. Or, they will just be like, I don't know what to do. And they're just scared. And when our emotions are very high, we cannot access the rational part of our brains. That's why when you want to talk to someone and when you have a conversation with someone about something they did that you didn't, like an adult, and let's say your partner, and they did something that you didn't agree, you want to talk to them. If you go there from a very defensiveness and very like accusational standpoint, they will just be defensive all the time, and you will just be hitting a block, and you won't be able to actually communicate. So our emotions, and when our emotions are high, when we are very angry, and we end up doing and saying things we regret. So you know that from yourself as an adult, and children are people, right? So when they are very much in that fear mode, they will not actually be learning things. Their brain is not able to learn. The only thing they learn is that when they do something that mom doesn't like, and again, it's not about the thing itself, it's about the fact that mom didn't like, or the teacher didn't like, or the kindergarten teacher didn't like, whoever it is. When they do something that someone doesn't like, they are really mean to them. So they get really good at hiding things from you. They don't need scolding. And also you need to remember that young children, so I focus on ages 3 to 6, and young children, they still really struggle. Their brain is not developed like an adult. They still don't fully master impulse control. They still don't have like a mature executive functioning of their brain. So when they act out, when they misbehave, I always say misbehavior is just your child showing you that they need you to teach them skills. They are not doing this because they are bad kids. They are not doing this because, they should know better and they just want to upset you, or they really know how to trigger all your buttons. They are doing these things because they need skills. There's something they want. There's something they're feeling, whatever it is. And they don't know how to deal with that in an appropriate way, in a healthy way. And so they do things that are not, correct. And they need to be taught why they are not correct and what they should do instead. Other things. When you are creating this fear-based parenting, what happens is that in the long term, children will just learn how to hide things from you. They will not come to you when they are in trouble because they fear so much that coming to you will get them into even bigger trouble. So they might, and probably that's not what you want, right? You want your child when they are in trouble that they come to you for help. But if your child truly believes that coming to you will get him into even bigger trouble, when they are in trouble, the first thing they might think is like, my parents can never find out. My parents can never find out. And you don't want this, right? Because they will turn into people that might not have their best interests at heart, or into behaviors or substances that are not healthy for them. Also, studies show that harsh verbal discipline, so even if you're not yelling, and even if you're just like being like, you are so stupid, you always do things wrong, why can't you just behave? Why can't you be like your sister? Why are you always doing crap? This type of things. is linked to lower self-esteem, increased aggression, and anxiety in children. So studies show that there is a relationship between these two things, scolding and all these, mental health issues in children. Also, because of modeling. So children learn mostly by modeling. If when they do something that you don't like, you deal with them by shaming them, by screaming at them, they learn that when someone does something that they don't like, that's how they deal with it. And you might say, no, but they don't do that to me. Yeah, because maybe you taught them that when they do that to you, you get even worse and you have more strength and power than them. So maybe they learn to only do that to people who have less power than them, right? Maybe younger kids, their younger siblings, younger people at kindergarten. Maybe they also learn because you punish them maybe when you see them doing it to just do it behind your back, right? And many of the sibling struggles that you see, like siblings hitting other children, their younger siblings, screaming at them, they learn this by modeling. And you might not do it on purpose, but when you let your emotions be in charge of your parenting, that's what happens. So that idea that children need to be screamed at in order to listen, they need to be punished in order to learn how not to do something, this is so incorrect. All research shows that this is not true. And it actually has the opposite effect. Also, shame-based parenting. When you are constantly saying you are a bad kid, children really start believing that about themselves. Up to the age of 6, this is when children learn, form their core beliefs. And if you teach your child that they are a bad child, if they start believing that they are a bad child, then they start believing that they are just powerless to change it. They will just do crap because, that's what I do. I'm just a bad kid. And you don't want to do that. Also because it's not true, right? There are no bad kids. There are only children who need more skills. And also because to be able to correct the behavior, studies show that connection works so much better than punishment. And again, that goes into that thing that I explained about the brain. You need to be self-regulated in order to be able to access the rational part of your brain. If you are, punishing your child, go to the room, think about what you did. I can assure you they're not there thinking, well, shouldn't have thrown my Legos on the floor. That might break the floor. That might break the Legos. That makes too much noise. They are not thinking that. They are thinking, I'm an awful kid because when I do something that mom doesn't like, she doesn't want to even be with me. I must be an awful kid. It's wrong of me to be angry. This feeling I'm having of wanting to throw toys on the floor, this is really wrong. I must be an awful kid. Maybe other people don't feel this. It must be just me. There's something wrong with me. And on top of that, you need to teach your child what to do when they feel that. Next time that you're angry and you want to throw a toy on the floor, what can you do instead? That's what parenting is about. It's not about scolding and punishing. That being said, of course, we are only human beings, parents. You didn't become a super enlightened being just because you became a parent. So it's normal that you lose it sometimes, right? None of us is perfect. And when you lose it, then afterwards you apologize. And you make sure your child knows that you didn't lose it because of your child. Because your child is not responsible for your emotions. You lost it because you weren't able to self-regulate. So it's okay to be angry. It's okay. Anyone in your position would be, going crazy with the way your child just behaved. And it's not okay to scream at your child, right? This is the same thing that you want your child to do when they make a mistake. That's what you need to do when you make a mistake with your child. Any questions, let me know.